Let's talk about 5 reasons that you lose money in the stock market day trading, and how these 5 things are your kryptonite. Your kryptonite when it comes to being a profitable day trader. We're going to talk about it here in this video. So if you want to find out and you want to know, I'm sure you already know why you lose money, but let's just talk about it and let's list out 5 reasons that you lose money day trading in the stock market. Gonna talk about it right here in this video, so make sure you guys stay tuned. All right, what's going on, guys? Patrick here, and today I want to talk about five reasons that I've lost money day trading, 5 reasons that you probably lose money day trading, and how you can avoid these 5 very common issues or mistakes or just overall thought process when it comes to day trading. So it's easy to sit here in hindsight and just be like, oh, well, this is the 5 reasons that I've lost money off these trades, or this is 5 things that always happen to me. These are things that we need to identify, we need to be able to avoid, we need to be able to see when they're happening and all of that, so that we can avoid losing money. At the end of the day, the biggest goal for day trading is to preserve our capital. Rewind that, to preserve our capital. That's what I said. The biggest goal is to preserve our capital. It's not to make millions of dollars. Obviously, we all hope and we dream and we pray and we want to become millionaires from day trading. But let's be honest here. The goal here really is to just be able to preserve capital and long-term grow that capital. It's not about, hey, let's get rich tomorrow. It's about, hey, let's just get that account growing higher than it would sitting in a savings account or just a checking account. Now, the first and the most popular reason that most people lose money day trading is FOMO. I've talked about this in probably 1,000 videos on this channel about FOMO in general, so I'm not going to get too in-depth here with the idea of what FOMO is, but it's just the fear of missing out. It's this emotional connection to money and being like, oh, I don't want to miss out on this big move. We got this big green candle. I want to buy. But what have we learned here? 3 years, 4 years of day trading, what have I learned is that why in the world would I ever buy some big green candle that's just going straight to the moon? It just makes no sense. At the end of the day, there's one thing that I know, and this is like the most rudimentary idea, is that stocks move in waves. That when we get these big drastic moves to the upside, we're going to get a pullback. We might not get it right away. We might not get it to the exact point that we wanted to buy at, but we're going to get a pullback, people. There's going to be a pullback at some point. I'm talking about day trading. I'm talking about, overall just some pullbacks there. It might not be a 100% pullback. It might not be a 50% pullback, but we're going to get some type of pullback. So let's just have patience. Let's wait for that pullback. Let's wait for that consolidation. And let's ask ourselves, hey, before we jump into this, is this stock overextended? If you do that, if you just ask yourself that one simple question, my friends, is this stock overextended? It will save you. I will tell you right now, it will save you from making a costly mistake in buying a stock that's overextended and really just having FOMO in general. Ask yourself that one question. If you do anything, just ask yourself one question before you enter a trade. Is this stock overextended? All right, so number two we're talking about here is fighting the trend. Come on, how many times have you done this where you've ended up buying a stock that's clearly trending lower, you ended up shorting a stock that's clearly trending higher? Stop doing it. I do it, you've done it, we've all done it, but let's make this a priority, my friends. One thing that can become an issue is that when you're trading and you try to predict which way a stock is going to go, you try to predict that a stock is going to stop at a resistance area, you try to predict that a stock is going to find support, you're trying to predict, you're trying to be a fortune teller. That's not what we are. We're not fortune tellers, we're day traders, we're trading the chart. And this has happened to me so many times where I end up trying to short a stock that I see it's like bam, 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 it's going higher. It's clearly trending higher. It's clearly bullish. Something, it's going to the moon. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get short because I think this is a resistance area and I think it's going to crash back down, and I believe, and I'm predicting that. And guess what happens? I end up getting short and it ends up squeezing me out and I end up losing money. And then what happens? It ends up dropping back down later. So again, we're not fortune tellers. We're day traders. We're trading the chart. Wait for that confirmation. Wait for that clear support area to bounce. Look at the bottom of those candles. What are you seeing at the bottom of those candles? Are you seeing the candles closing at that support? Are you seeing buyers stepping in there? Are you seeing wicks? Is it pushing back up when you're trying to buy the dip? Ask yourself these questions before you enter the trade. It's going to save you a lot of heartache and a lot of time. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Are you fighting against the trend? Are you fighting the trend? Are you riding the trend? I promise you that if you just try to ride the trend more so than predict which way the trend is going to change or when it's going to change, you might not be able to get the biggest profits ever. You're not going to, call the top, nail the bottom every single time. But if you're able to identify the trend and ride the trend and take profit along the way before that big move happens, you will be able to grow an account. Because again, being able to predict the top, being able to predict the bottom is going to be almost impossible. You're going to end up doing it one day. You're going to be like, wow, I'm a genius. I finally did it. But then all the other days you're going to end up losing money or end up blowing your account. You're going to end up blowing up your account because you end up getting squeezed out and things like that. So forget about predicting what's happening. Ride the chart and ask yourself, again, before you enter the trade, is this trade or is this stock looking bullish to the upside or is looking bearish to the downside? And is my trade in line with that overall trend? No more fighting the trend. No more fighting the trend. So now the third reason that you lose money as a day trader, I've lost money doing this as well, is just simply over trading. Now, how many times have you traded a stock and you bought it, you sold it, all of a sudden it's going higher, you buy it, you sell it, you buy it, you sell it, and you make a little bit of money on the way up, but all of a sudden you end up buying it at a certain point and it ends up crashing back down and you just lost every single penny from those little gains along the way, and now you're in the red because you bought at the top and you're selling at the bottom and you just washed out all your gains for the day. That, my friends, is a simple thing to fix. So many people will be like, hey, I make money doing this. I make money, right at open, making some trades. I end up making a little bit of money. But what always happens is after I trade in the morning, I end up losing money as the day goes on. This is what people tell me all the time. And I'm like, so you just told me exactly what you're doing wrong. Told me that you're over trading. So why are you asking me? What do you want me to tell you? You want me to tell you, hey, you're over trading? You already know that you're over trading and you're trying to force trades. If you end up making money at a certain time during the day and that's the most profitable time for you to trade every day, and you figure out that, hey, all I need to do is just trade from 9:30 to 10 and I'm making money every day, but for some reason when I trade at 11 or 12 in the afternoon, I end up losing money, well, simply just quit trading when you're losing money. I know it's not that simple, but in general, let's identify our most profitable times to trade, our most consistently profitable times of the day. Normally for me, between 9:30 and 10 is when I see my best trades overall for setups and overall plays. Those are normally the best time for me. It might be different for you, but you need to identify that. Like today, I traded this morning. Oh my gosh, the market's crashing. I traded this morning at 9:30 when the market opened, and I've been working on videos ever since. Now, have I seen opportunities along the way? I've seen plenty of trades. Like right now, I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I really want to get over there and trade again. But what I know from looking back at my previous trades for the last 3 years is when I trade in the morning and I have a good day, when I end up trying to force more trades as the day goes on, normally I end up trading out of boredom and I end up just forcing trades. I end up trading, over trading in general. So I'm really stressing you guys to enforce this simple idea. If you're trying to be a trader, you're trying to trade all day, whatever it is, figure out when you're most profitable and stick to those hours of the day. Now, you can still trade all day long, but just don't feel the need to have to make a trade, constantly. If you're most profitable between 9:30 and 10, take those trades and then sit back and be patient and wait for a really good setup to come from then. If no setups come, then that's okay. At least you're preserving your capital, your mental capital and your actual financial capital. All right, so the fourth reason that you lose money as a day trader is because you jump around. Now, I know that's hard to explain with just 3 words, but you end up jumping around way too much. And what that means is that you end up having so many different strategies that you never actually focus on one strategy long enough to actually see the return. Let's say your strategy is you want to buy the dip, you want to sell the rip. How many times has this happened where you ended up using that strategy, buying the dip, selling the rip, you end up losing money. So then what do? The next day you're like, well, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to end up shorting, and I'm going to end up trying to look for the dip. And then all of a sudden you're doing that. Now you're shorting on the second day of the week. It's Monday, you try to buy the dip. On Tuesday you're trying to short, and now you're shorting and you're losing money again. So now, well, it's Wednesday and you're like, well, I lost money on Monday trying to buy the dip. I lost money on Tuesday trying to short, and now on Wednesday I think I'm going to buy the breakout. Right? How many times does this happen? How many times does this happen, you guys? Because I know it's happened to me, and I know I'm not the only person out there who has experienced these issues with day trading. So jumping around constantly is one of the worst things you can do. Now, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't go out and learn more strategies. You shouldn't have, some strategies kind of backup and stuff like that, strategies you can go to, your go-to strategies. But you really need to make sure that if you're using a strategy where you're like, I'm going to buy the dip with 1,000 shares, I'm going to look to take profit at a 20-cent pop. You need to really do that multiple times, not just one day. You can't just do it one day. You can't test a strategy by doing it one day, because remember, it's all about probabilities here. Now, you might have an idea, you might have a strategy that works 90% of the time, but that 10% is the first couple trades. You ended up losing money the first couple trades. That doesn't mean that your strategy doesn't work. It just means that you're not testing your strategy enough. So really, if you have a strategy, you should focus on that strategy for at least 10, 20, 30 trades, and really keep your position small at the beginning. You can always size up later. A lot of people will do that. They'll have a large position for their first time using a strategy. They're like, okay, I'm going to buy 10,000 shares on the dip and I'm going to sell the rip. And all of a sudden, they try to buy the dip. They never bought the dip before, and all of a sudden, it crashes on them, and they end up losing a lot more money. So when I'm telling you to try strategies, please use small size, things like that. But in general, just think about that. If you're trying out a strategy, don't expect that, after one try, after one attempt, that's going to be the only time of using that strategy. You really need to use that strategy for at least 10, 20, 30 trades to really be able to look at it and be like, hey, this just is not working. I've bought the dip 30 times, and out of those 30 times, I've lost 25 times. Obviously, I don't know if you really want to get to that point of losing 25 times, but in general, you should be able to look back and be like, hey, there's just something wrong about this strategy, and I don't need to do it anymore. All right, so the fifth reason, and I'm going to go ahead and claim it as the number one reason that most people end up losing money as a new day trader or as a day trader in general. The number one reason, people have unrealistic goals. Do you have unrealistic goals? Are you thinking you're going to turn $1,000 into $100,000 in only a month? Have you been watching Ross Cameron's videos and you're like, wow, this guy's making $30,000 in one day? I can do that as well. I've only got 500, but I can maybe make at least $30,000 in 1 month. I've said this idea before. What really one of the only professions or hobbies or whatever you want to call it, it's one of the only things in the world where you can go and sign up today and lose all your money tomorrow against the best in the world. Obviously, you can go to a casino and do it as well, but that's like a different thing. But as a profession, there's no other profession where you can literally open an account and start working tomorrow against the best of the best in the world. Not just the best of the best, but literally the best. When you're not really that good at basketball, like going straight from elementary school basketball right into the NBA. It's just not gonna work. It's not ever gonna work. So let's be honest here. Why is it that every new day trader has unrealistic dreams? Remember, I was a new day trader at one point. I also thought that it was easy, that I would just make tons and tons of money just buying and selling and sitting at home and getting rich. I thought it was just too easy. But what I've learned over the last 4 years is that it's not easy, it's not simple, and you got to be realistic. You got to be able to understand that you're not going to get rich overnight, that there's no simple and easy way from top to bottom, there's no video that you can watch, there's no course that you can buy that's going to make you a millionaire overnight. But if you really have the time, the effort, and you're putting that in there, you can figure it out over time. But let's be honest, when you first start day trading, let's just focus on one damn thing. One thing, people, and that's just not losing money. If you can do that, if you can just not lose money for like a year, I say this all the time and nobody ever believes me, you're doing better than like 99% of the people who are day trading in the world. So that's like a really big stat. If you can just trade for an entire year, make real trades and just not lose money, maybe you'll make a little bit of money, maybe you'll, have a little red day, have a little green day, have a little red day, but continuously just doing that, growing your account, that's winning. That is winning. Your first year as a day trader, if you can do that, you're winning. You are winning, my friends. All right, so there it is. 5 reasons. We talked about it. We went over it. It's really cut and dry, simple, as I like to say. Most of these reasons, these 5 reasons, I'm telling you, those 5 reasons are probably the main reasons for you losing money. Day trading, at the end of the day, buying and selling, it's not difficult. But the problem is when you don't follow the rules, when you get emotional, when you try to revenge trade, or you try to really just be unrealistic with your day trading skills and your day trading account, that's when you start to lose money and you end up blowing up your account because you're just not following the overall rules, my friends. You need to create rules for yourself. You need to identify when you're doing the wrong things, and you need to be able to make changes and improvements and little adjustments along the way. Day trading, it's a journey. It's a battle. That's what I like to say. It's a battle. Day trading is a battle, and we're all out here bleeding, we're battling, we're getting bruised, and we're taking the hits. But remember, the last thing that you want to do is end up losing everything and end up getting out of the game, because long term, you're going to be a better day trader a year from now. 1 year from now, you're going to be a better day trader. Maybe you won't be more profitable, but you're going to learn more, hopefully. I'm hoping that you're going to learn more. But personally, I've learned a ton. I've learned a lot since day 1 till now, so I'm just trying to relate to my personal experience. But I'm telling you, the longer you can stay in the game, the better. The worst thing you can do is start day trading today and end up losing all your money and out of the game in a week, because you're never going to learn. You're never going to become profitable that way. So there it is. If you guys haven't already, do me one big favor, hit that like button down below, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm Patrick, and this is the top 5 reasons that most people end up losing money day trading. If you're still watching this video, don't worry. There's a lot more videos right here on the #1 day trading channel for you to check out and learn more about day trading. So don't be afraid and check out these videos right over here. 1, 2, newest and latest and greatest videos for you to check out. Also, hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already.